Hello, everybody. I'm wanting to introduce you to a very, very special woman in Mandy's and my life, Arvick. You all know that I'm a Reiki practitioner, and this is the beautiful lady that introduced me to Reiki and changed my life. So, Arvick, welcome.
Morning.
Welcome to the program.
It's lovely to see you. And so, Arvick, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us like where you're from, and because you're not from Spain, and your story is quite beautiful. So tell us where you come from.
Well, I'm Armenian. I was born in Iran, and in my very early 20s, I went to England, and I had some lessons to learn. And then I began my journey of traveling with my work. And in 2002, I ended up in Barcelona. I've been around a long time. It's a long story. I'm trying to. Yes.
And how long have you been in Spain?
Well, I came here 2002.
Okay.
But I kind of like was coming and going. I was traveling a great deal then.
Okay.
Everywhere. And I used to come here just to rest. But I didn't know anyone. And that was very lonely for me at the time. And then in fact, when I was writing the book, I more and more started staying here, settling down, and kind of like still traveling, but not as crazy as before.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your book, but it'd be really beautiful to introduce you to people to you as who you are. For us, you're our shaman and a Reiki master, and people may know you from the people who come to our studio, who actually will see your book on the bookshelf, The Magic of Shamanism. So tell us how you got into being a shaman, and I mean, obviously there's a beautiful story behind this as well.
Well, I actually don't call myself shaman. I'm too young in the business. I've only been doing it for the past 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I call myself shaman.
You're a shaman. What with shamanette?
So, but truly everyone can shamanize, but not everyone can be a shaman. And shaman is someone that others recognize you as the healer, as the shaman, if you like. And it's a blanket name, and these days it's thrown about and everyone talks about it. And when you talk about shamanism, and immediately ayahuasca comes to people's mind. And we in core shamanism, we practice pure spiritual work. Yes, there is nothing wrong with ayahuasca, but that gives people a peak experience, and we want to go more than just having peak experiences. Mm-hmm. And shamanism is a spiritual and healing practice. It's the oldest that there is, and it's very empowering practice. It connects you with your power within, with the real you, who you are.
Yeah.
Free of all the frills of fears and judgments and all the other things that get in the way that we have collected over the years, here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Reiki, as a Reiki master,
Reiki
did that come before? Did that come before you become?
Yes. Reiki was the gate. My gate to spirituality, to become aware of spirituality, to become aware of this beautiful way of living, being alive, and not being automatic. Mm-hmm. And it came as a result of a sickness that I had. I developed a degenerative disease in my spine, and I would not like to talk about all the medical interventions that truly, literally nearly killed me. And then it was, but it was a gift. This sickness was a gift because I was practicing as a midwife at the time, and I couldn't work as a midwife then. And therefore, suddenly it was like gates open for mature students to go to university. So there I was.
Amazing.
I did the 4-year applied social studies. And during this time was suddenly sexual abuse became very rife and known.
Mm-hmm.
It was recognized, it was talked about, not so recognized, talked about. It happened somewhere else, not in the city you live, but little acknowledgements were happening. And that captured my interest because I come from Iran, where child bride was very much practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And during my midwifery, when I was in Iran, I went for a short period there. I came across 2 young child brides that were admitted to hospital for vaginal tears and so on. And it stayed with me that these children were just laying there with the glazed eyes.
Yeah.
And almost like they were not in their body. And I just kept saying, but there must be more we can do for these children than just doing the physical healing.
Yeah.
And no one was hearing me. Quite honestly, if I'd stood naked in the middle of the road and screamed it, no one would hear me, because it wasn't in people's consciousness and it was in the culture.
Yeah.
It was not considered as something wrong. So it kind of stayed with me. So when I started my studies and sexual abuse started coming out, becoming
more public,
fashionable,
fashion.
it happens, you know, then it captured me. And I dedicated my studies, my everything to it. Then in '87, I was invited to New York to teach professionals about diagnosis, getting disclosure from children, recognizing that this is if they are experiencing and so on. And I came across Reiki. Someone talked about it. I was studying NLP at the time, and a student in the class talked about Reiki, and I was like, I was very much into the psychotherapy, psychology, very much in the head, very away from the heart, but aware that there's something bubbling here. Anyway, one night he gave me an experience, he gave me a treatment, and I just knew that this is something I want to learn.
Yeah, so it was basically...
My life changed. Within 3 months, my collar was off. I was able to use my hands. It was incredible.
Well, I have to say, Arvick, when I first did the workshop, when I did my Reiki one with you, I literally, my life changed within an hour. It felt like after I did that workshop, I came home to Mandy and I said, I'm fundamentally now a different person.
That's the beauty of this energy, that it reaches what you are ready to transform. Yeah, and everybody is different. Some people, it takes longer for them to let go of their attachment to whatever it is they have, and others are ready to let go immediately. So the energy is an honorable energy, and it will not force you into anything that you are not ready to let go. But it gradually will transform you if you stay with it. And of course, it just is there with me all the time, sitting on my shoulders. I can't.
And now, Arvick, so you're a recognized teacher international teacher around the world, and you travel a lot, actually sharing your knowledge and teaching people. Do you think now that is it your passion to teach? Did you think that in the end that's what it became for you, this journey?
I think being a healer or wanting to help others to heal themselves. It's, for me, my goal is more, I'm recognizing it's more about empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah? That the healer is in all of us.
Yeah.
And I feel like being a channel to help people to recognize that in themselves, empower themselves, has always been with me. My mother used to tell me when I was little in Iran, they always asked the children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And apparently I used to say, I want to read the head. I want to get into the, understand people's head.
Well, you certainly do that. You certainly do that. From my experience of working with
also traveling. I wanted to travel.
Yeah. So it's a perfect combination, getting in people's heads and traveling. So you wrote your book, and what prompted, like, how long ago was your book published?
Oh, heavens. I have to look at the date. Truly, it was such a long time ago. Everybody's talking about to write the next one. 2007.
Okay, so 13 years ago.
But it's still very much updated.
Yeah, it definitely. Everyone who's read it, who's been in our studio, has always come back to me and said that they've loved the book. And I like it. To me, it's dateless. You know, it has its own life. Would you write it? And would you write another one? Are you thinking about writing another one?
I don't know. I am more of a practitioner. Yeah. I like to use my time to help people.
Well, maybe you could do a visual book where you could actually just sit and speak, which would be beautiful. I'd like that.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Well, I like it's like a beginner's workshop for shamanism.
Yeah.
And I bring into it not only my personal and professional experiences of working with the helping spirits, but also the experience of other people.
Yeah.
And seeing how people flourish, how they get into recognize their power.
Yeah.
It helps them to transform and heal.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, it was a life-changing moment as well. Nat had read the book and said to me, "You must read it," and I was like, "I don't need to read the book right now." But then when that moment came, when I read it, it was just one moment. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to read this," and then it again. And I think that the journey or the experiences that we've had together, and when I've explained it to people, it's almost like psychology for your spirit. You know, it's like you kind of like it gets in your head, but it gets in your soul as well. So that you go through a process of actually understanding why you do things and why things affect you and how you react, and that you can actually take some solstice in understanding that you can work with that, and it can be positive.
I also like the book because I am bringing research that has been done by other practitioners and authors and so on, and I've brought all that in, but yet I'm trying to make it a simple introduction to spiritual practice.
And it is.
That's my aim.
No, it does that. I congratulate you. It does that. And we've been speaking because you sent me last week, and one of the reasons why we wanted to also have you come and chat with us is because you sent me a reading that you had done, or a practice that you had done with your team had done together, your students, about COVID-19. And it was very powerful. But I'm interested to just know that you actually have this connection not just on this level here right now, but also with what's going on globally and what's going on with us as a humanity. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you feel about that right now, or what you think we could learn from this experience, or what it might be teaching us?
Well, this idea of students going and meeting the spirit of the COVID-19, or a spirit teacher to ask about it, came when I was in Poland. I was doing a program, and I was 2 days into the program, and 10 o'clock at night, we were still working, and one of the students said, Arvick, we have to get you out of the country, because by tomorrow they'll close the gates and you'll be stuck here. We love to have you here, but we think you also want to go home.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, no panic. I just said, okay, let's just do one last journey, because we've all been talking about this, and we've all been in this beautiful place. It's a beautiful center in middle of a forest and nature and lake, and you forget about the outside world, you know. So suddenly the idea came, I want you all to journey, and whoever, they had a choice to meet the spirit of the virus, or a spirit teacher to tell them the 3 gifts that they are receiving from this experience, and a glimpse of 2 things that it can give them when they are, like almost like a future that it will bring into their life when this is all over, when the crisis is over. And it was incredible, the people's experience. So I came back and I introduced it to the rest of my students here. I have 3 programs going in Israel, Poland, and Barcelona. So every one of them, it was very interesting that the similarity, the collectiveness of the messages, everyone was receiving message that they needed to hear.
Yeah.
How that was what the gift was, and how that was helping them. It was really incredible, but very, very similar. Most people were saying how it has brought them more to connect with their family, to contact them, to be more aware of the not taking things for granted, things like that. I think for me, the work that I have done, the spiritual work that I've done over the years with the help of my spirit helpers, for me it was like, made me realize how much this work is paying off for me, that how much it has transformed me. Everyone has fear of death, Mandy. We all have fear of death. But that panic is not there for me. It's not palpable, yeah? And this is what my aim is, that through now I'm helping my students, my clients, whoever that comes to me, to help them to connect with that, to connect, to be in the moment, to be at peace, because with peace comes power.
You make me want to cry. in pleasure. It's making my heart swell a lot, because I think right now this is what we all need to be feeling, and it's a tough time to do that because we keep thinking what's next and how are we going to cope.
Exactly. Yeah. The other thing that has happened for me is fear of losing fear of technological things, because I'm very technologically illiterate, and to sit here and talk to you is not something I would have done a year ago.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I was working with, yeah. And this has helped me to push my comfort zone, to explore, to connect with my creativity, going more in rather than out. Yeah. And knowing that often my students, when they come to learn Reiki 2, which is distant healing. They say, I am here to learn this, to see how I can help the world, how I can reach the poor in India, and so on. And it's like, charity starts at home. Look in here, healing starts here. I don't think we can heal the world, but if each one of us heal ourselves, grow, to connect with that beautiful aspect of ourselves, that compassionate, loving part of ourselves, then the whole world will change. So it's individually before it is the whole.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I know that it's been for us a beautiful journey to have met you and have you in our lives, and we hope that that's why we want to share this moment with everybody and let them be introduced to you, because we speak about you a lot, but people don't necessarily know who you are. So putting the face to the name and getting to hear you speak, I thought would be a really beautiful gift for everybody else as well. And if people wanted to buy your book, can they buy it on Amazon or?
Sure, they can buy it on Amazon.
That's amazing. Well, maybe this is a good time to actually
in Spanish, in Polish, and in English.
That's amazing.
Well,
we have to thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And I actually, you were gracious enough to send me the transcripts from that reading, and I'll start to share it with some people, some of the different things from there that I think might be relevant to our audience.
Definitely. It's a message for all of us. It's a message for all of us.
Thank you so much, darling. Well, we hope you have a beautiful day.
Thank you very much.
And we be in touch, okay?
Thank you, Arvick.
Ciao,
Bye.
Bella.
Thank you.
Bye.
There's the camera there.